Assalamu alaikum and Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is Dr. Nusrat Kharati. Today I am honored and privileged that I am given this topic of high flow nasal oxygen therapy. I will start to discuss various benefits of Okay, this is how it looks actually. High flow nasal cannula. This is how it looks. I will discuss about various components of this therapy later on. First of all, I would like to discuss some benefits of this therapy over various mask therapies. First of all, it is comfortable in use than mask therapies, and thus it increases the compliance. We all know that. We all know this about that this therapy. There is less skin damage than with bi-level positive airway pressure treatment. Patient can talk, eat, and drink, unlike various mask therapies. And there is thoracoabdominal synchrony is better with high flow nasal cannula, which is mostly attributed due to decreased work of breathing. The characteristic of this therapy are flow rate of oxygen. We can achieve up to 60 liter per minute. FiO2 we can achieve up to 100%. Here in this therapy, we can actively humidified oxygen up to 44 millimeter of water per liter. The temperature control we can achieve up to 37 degrees centigrade. We will discuss it later on how it will helpful for the patient. There are 5 key principles of this therapy. First of all, the heated humidification of inhaled gas. The heated humidification of gas causes increased mucus clearance and increased airway conduction. Number 2, the high inspiratory flow causes decreased work of breathing. Number 3, washout of upper airways. This washout reduces dead space and it also reduces rebreathing of gas, which is high in carbon dioxide. The fourth principle is positive airway pressure, which causes resistance in expiratory flow and increases mean airway pressure and gas exchange. The fifth and final is the decreased entrainment of ambient air, yani ki room air. It increases the inspired FiO2. Okay, this diagram is actually, we can appreciate how these 5 key principles can increase comfort and tolerance, decrease diaphragm load injury, decrease lung injury, and increase oxygenation, and thus it improved the clinical outcome of the patient. Here it is the basic setup of the high flow nasal cannula oxygen therapy. We can see that the number 1 component is an air oxygen blender. Air oxygen blender is allowing 21 to 100% FiO2, and it can generate up to 60 liter per minute flow. The second component is the humidifier or heated. It can actively heated the gas and deliver via single limb heated inspiratory circuit. The third component is that it is the nasal cannula through which patient can breathe adequate heated air. Now we will discuss some uses, some evidence-based uses of this therapy. There are few uses which are written here, and I will explain later on how data support these uses. First of all, acute hypoxemic respiratory failure. The acute hypoxemic in acute hypoxemic respiratory failure, this therapy was considered as the one which can lower 90-day mortality. But in recent meta-analysis of JAMA and any AGM. They have concluded that the result of this study showed that lower risk of high flow nasal cannula can lower the risk of intubation, but there is no role of high flow nasal oxygen therapy in decreasing the mortality as compared to standard oxygen therapy. Sensitivity analysis using optimistic prior suggested there may still be a potential benefit of high flow nasal oxygen in reducing mortality, but it require or it reinforce need for additional randomized control trials. There are other uses of this oxygen therapy in COVID pneumonia. We have this trial, a South African prospective observational study, basically, and it emphasizes that in severe COVID-19 pneumonia, this one is the largest reported to date, and it is having encouraging result. Conducted by Caligaro, and there were 233 enrolled patients. The success rate was 47% in this one. We can see here the success rate was 47%, and it is still the encouraging study. We can have further RCTs to prove the benefit of this therapy later on. There are few studies for post-extubation as well. In post-extubation patient, we have studies which shown that there are less reintubation in patient with high flow nasal cannula. Patient with the high flow nasal cannula are more comfortable with less desaturations, with less interface displacement, and with less reintubation rates. In DNI patient, we have seen that there are studies which have concluded that high flow nasal cannula provides adequate oxygenation in DNI patient as well. And in turn, they can have a good comfort care. In heart failure patient, we can see that in this study, they have concluded that high flow nasal cannula on room air it changes reversible with withdrawal of high flow nasal cannula. In post-cardiac surgery patient as also the hypoxemia post-surgery and reintubation rate and ICU mortality are similar to those of non-positive pressure ventilation, but it was more comfortable, right? So the results were similar, but it was more comfortable. Other uses of this therapy are idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. Data exists for them also. Emergency department use, use during bronchoscopy, and obstructive sleep apnea, during obstructive sleep apnea. There are few contraindications as well. When patient is unable to protect airway, like in low GCS, patient with low GCS, the presence of base of skull fracture, there are any trauma of facial bones, nasal obstruction, life-threatening hypoxia, and also when there is foreign body aspiration, we should not consider this therapy. So the take-home message are, there is no definitive indications for high flow nasal cannula. There is no criteria for timing of starting or stopping high flow nasal cannula. There is no criteria for escalating treatment. But despite these shortcomings, high flow nasal cannula has emerged as an effective modality for early treatment of respiratory failure with diverse underlying issues. I would like to thank my colleague, Dr. Tuba Mehreen, for this presentation. She has helped me a lot. Thank you so much.